The Tonight Show studio was electric that evening, the bright lights glimmering, collective laughter echoing, and cameras tracking every deliberate move on the stage. The house band played their usual smooth, jazzy rhythm, setting a comfortable and anticipated atmosphere. Jimmy Fallon greeted the excited crowd with his signature enthusiasm, and when the iconic figure of Leonardo DiCaprio walked out from behind the curtain, the entire room erupted in applause. He smiled warmly, waved to the adoring audience, and subtly adjusted his jacket, carrying that familiar, easy confidence paired with genuine, quiet humility. It was supposed to be a standard, easy night of publicity. Routine movie promotion, a few lighthearted jokes, a touch of gentle nostalgia, and a quick clip from the newest film. Nothing about the evening was planned to be out of the ordinary or dramatically memorable. But fate, as it often does in the most unexpected ways, doesn't always wait patiently for the right moment. Sometimes it chooses its own perfect timing. Jimmy and Leo immediately exchanged friendly, witty banter, laughing about past surfing accidents, strange fan encounters, and awkward early interviews. The audience was initially warm, relaxed, and fully engaged, until a small, slightly trembling voice broke the familiar, comfortable rhythm. "Excuse me," someone said, the voice carrying a soft, unmistakable urgency that cut through the background hum. The sound came clearly from the middle seating section of the large audience. A woman stood slowly, her hands visibly shaking, holding a small square photograph clutched between her fingers. Jimmy looked momentarily surprised by the unexpected interruption, but quickly masked it with curiosity. Hi there, ma'am. What exactly is that you've got there?" The woman hesitated for a long moment, her eyes fixed on the man on stage, then spoke softly, barely above a whisper. I think this truly belongs to him." She looked directly at Leonardo DiCaprio, her face tight with emotion. The laughter in the studio died instantly, the silence deepening with shared curiosity. Leo frowned slightly, though he maintained his polite, professional smile. "To me? How could it belong to me?" She nodded, her conviction absolute, and began walking slowly down the audience steps, clutching the faded photo as if it were a physical, beating heartbeat. A crew member immediately moved from the wing to intercept her, concerned about security protocols, but Jimmy quickly gestured for the woman to come forward, trusting the emotional weight in the air. The cameras stayed still, focusing entirely, sensing the profound gravity of the moment. When she reached the edge of the stage, she held out the small square photo toward Leo. It was an old Polaroid. The colors were visibly faded, the corners soft and rounded, the kind of delicate image that felt like it had miraculously survived 1,000 untold stories. Leo took it gently from her outstretched hand. "What exactly is this, ma'am?" he asked, his voice low. The woman whispered, the sound raw with memory. "It was taken way back in 1994, at St. Mary's Hospital in Los Angeles." Leo blinked, pausing to search his memory. "I wasn't there, not that I can recall. I don't think I was." She smiled sadly, a soft, sorrowful expression. "You were, even if you were only there for a quick moment." He looked much closer at the small image. The photo showed a visibly younger version of himself, messy hair, slightly worn denim jacket, sitting casually in a stark hospital hallway. He was sitting right beside a little girl with very short blonde hair. She was holding a well-used sketchbook in her lap, smiling faintly and sweetly, and in the picture, he was smiling genuinely back at her. The palpable silence in the studio deepened further, focusing entirely on the tiny, faded memory. "That's you, Mr. DiCaprio," the woman said, her voice trembling slightly. "And that's my beautiful sister, Ellie. She was exactly 8 years old." Jimmy exhaled audibly behind the desk, his shock clear. "Wow, that's truly something." Leo turned the old photo slightly under the bright stage light, trying to unlock the hidden memory. How is this even possible? I don't remember this specific day." The woman nodded patiently. "I didn't think you would. She met you entirely by chance. You were filming What's Eating Gilbert Grape nearby at the time. The nurses were letting the long-term patients walk outside for just a few minutes of fresh air. She saw you walking down the hallway, recognized you instantly from a magazine, and asked if you would please sit with her for just a minute. You immediately stopped your day and did it." Leo froze completely. His eyes widened suddenly as memories began to flicker, blurred faces, the overwhelming smell of antiseptic, the faint, sweet laugh of a child. "Oh my God," he whispered, the realization hitting him hard. I think I do remember. Just a flash." "She drew this for you right after you left," the woman said, pulling out a second folded piece of paper from her pocket. It was taped inside the back of her sketchbook. She titled it, "The Day the Movie Star Waited." "She told everyone you stayed until the nurse came back for her. She never, ever forgot that small kindness." Leo unfolded the fragile paper. Inside was a child's drawing, rough, simple pencil lines showing a man with a blue jacket sitting beside a little girl, both figures smiling broadly. Above their heads, a small sign was clearly labeled, "St. Mary's Hospital. She passed away quietly later that very night," the woman said, her voice hushed with finality. "And this Polaroid, it was taken by a kind nurse right before you departed. We found it only years later tucked securely inside the drawing." The audience was now completely and utterly silent, holding its collective breath in the intense, shared intimacy. Leo's voice was soft, almost broken by the revelation. She was so incredibly small. "She was incredibly brave," the woman gently corrected him. "And she said something to me that I never understood back then. She told me, 'One day he'll remember me and I'll be waiting.'" Leo's lips parted slightly, his eyes glistening profoundly. He looked down at the faded photo again, then back at her, his expression a mixture of grief and wonder. "I do now," he stated simply, the words hanging in the air, fragile yet undeniably eternal. Jimmy didn't attempt to speak. He just placed his hand gently on the desk, his head slightly bowed in respect. Leo wiped his eyes with a quick, nervous motion, laughing softly through the fresh tears. "You know," he said, his voice finding strength, "people always think the big movie sets and premieres are the moments that truly stay with you. But it's precisely these, the quiet, small ones, that never ever leave your spirit." The woman smiled through her own tears, finding closure in his words. "She would be so profoundly happy to hear you say that today." Leo made to hand the drawing back to her, but she firmly shook her head. "She wanted you to keep it, Mr. DiCaprio. She said it was a specific gift for the moment you finally remembered." He looked down at the small drawing again, the faint pencil lines trembling slightly in his hand. "I don't think I could ever possibly forget this now." He placed the small Polaroid gently beside the drawing on the host's desk. The intense light from the stage hit the photo just right, the little girl's faint, sweet smile glowing softly against his recognizable younger face. The Roots, sensing the absolute sacred weight of the moment, stopped playing their music completely. The studio was frozen in that rare, profound silence that only absolute truth can create. Leo finally turned his body toward the large, silent audience. "You know, I've spent my entire life trying to make and tell stories for others, but sometimes the most important ones suddenly find you first, when you least expect it." He took a deep, shaky breath, holding the emotion in check. "Thank you, truly, for bringing her back to me after all these years." The woman nodded, her mission completed, whispering, "She never truly left your side." Jimmy looked across at Leo, his own eyes wet with tears, his voice shaking with unexpected feeling. That's the most beautiful, most impossible thing I have ever witnessed happen on this stage." Leo smiled faintly, looking down at the rediscovered photo again. She drew herself smiling. "Look closely. I think that's exactly what she wanted, to be perpetually remembered smiling in that moment." He placed the faded Polaroid gently on the desk, right beside his water glass, like an old cherished friend suddenly and miraculously rediscovered. The camera zoomed in slowly, deliberately. The small, faded Polaroid, perfectly framed under the warm studio lights, the colors soft and timeless. No one clapped. No outro music dared to begin playing. No joke was necessary. Just the profound, quiet hum of the stage lights and Leonardo DiCaprio staring intently at a single small photo that had patiently waited 30 years to be finally seen again, fade to black. The segment instantly became the most unexpected, shared, and deeply emotional moment of the show's season. It was widely discussed, not for the movie Leo was promoting, but for the depth of human connection it revealed. The story of Ellie, the little girl who met the movie star, became a silent legend among the crew. Leonardo DiCaprio carefully placed the Polaroid and the drawing in a private archival box. He later told a friend that the drawing reminded him that kindness, not fame, is the true legacy. He realized that his brief, spontaneous visit to a sick child was a more powerful memory than any Oscar-winning role. The moment taught him a profound lesson about the unexpected echoes of small acts of goodness. The little girl's sister found a form of closure she never thought possible. She had finally completed her silent 30-year mission to make her sister's brief life remembered. She understood that Ellie's final promise, "One day he'll remember me," was not a childish wish, but a profound certainty. Jimmy Fallon often refers to the St. Mary's Polaroid moment when discussing the magic of live television. He insists that the best parts of the show are the ones you can't write into the script, the ones that emerge from the audience. He said it taught him that sometimes the most resonant human stories are the shortest ones. The studio staff, having witnessed the sacred silence, often look at that spot in the audience with reverence. They mentally call it Ellie's seat, a quiet memorial to the little girl who waited. Leo kept the photograph with him when filming scenes that required deep emotional memory. He said the image provided him with a direct, raw line to genuine empathy and feeling. The woman later started a small charity in Ellie's name, dedicated to bringing unexpected moments of joy to children in long-term hospital stays. She knew that one single unexpected visit could create a memory that lasts beyond a lifetime. Leo sent a generous, anonymous donation to the charity every year on the anniversary of the photo. He never forgot the promise he unknowingly made in a hospital hallway 30 years earlier. The small, simple act of waiting by a child's side was his true defining role that day. The fading colors of the Polaroid became a metaphor for the enduring, unyielding power of a remembered connection. It was evidence that time can fade the paper, but never the love, imprinted within the moment. The story serves as a profound reminder that even the biggest stars are just people, capable of profound, life-altering kindness, and that the most powerful stories often don't involve the Titanic or Wall Street, but a single, quiet encounter. Ellie's drawing, framed and preserved, remains a silent testament in Leo's private world. It is a permanent reminder that the greatest work of art is a simple smile shared with someone who needs it. The entire episode, brief and unscripted as it was, became a masterclass in emotional truth. It showed millions of viewers that closure can arrive unexpectedly, years after the loss, and that some memories are simply too precious to be lost to the passage of time. Leo's quiet affirmation, "I do now," was not just an answer to the woman, but a profound commitment. It was a commitment to the little girl with the sketchbook, who knew her small moment of joy would one day be seen. He carried that memory into his future performances, richer and more grounded for having found the Polaroid. The faint smell of antiseptic, the slight chill of the hospital hallway, the bright smile of the little girl, all now vivid. The segment proved that even in the world of celebrity, the most enduring connections are the simple human ones, and that the most important role anyone can play is being present for someone who is vulnerable. The Polaroid from 1994 finally completed its long, patient journey. It fulfilled Ellie's wish to be remembered, not as a sick child, but as the smiling girl who met the movie star. And in the stillness of Studio 6B, a small, faded photograph proved that true kindness is eternally unforgettable. The applause eventually came, but it was quiet, reverent, and purely for the beautiful, impossible truth. The cameras kept rolling, capturing the aftermath of a secret finally shared. Leo stood, holding the drawing, his career momentarily dwarfed by the power of the small piece of paper. The show ended, leaving behind the powerful realization that some stories simply refuse to remain untold.